Welcome to the H.D. Smith Pharmacy Podcast Series, recorded live at the NCPA Annual Convention and Exhibition in October of 2017. This podcast series is dedicated to independent community pharmacy owners throughout the country, and the topics and discussions are near and dear to the H.D. Smith team. H.D. Smith is the only national drug wholesaler dedicated exclusively to independently owned pharmacies, and has been since 1954. H.D. Smith's consultant-style proactive account management helps pharmacies thrive and improve profitability in today's changing market. Share all these podcasts in this special series about topics and issues impacting the profitability and survivability of privately owned pharmacies with other owners and operators. Help us spread the word about supporting independently owned pharmacies. And now, here's the founder and host of the Pharmacy Podcast Network, Todd Urey.
Hello, this is Christopher Espeland, Division Sales Manager with H.D. Smith, and you're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast.
Hey, we are here at the NCPA 2017 conference in Orlando, Florida, celebrating community pharmacy, and I am honored to be part of the H.D. Smith team. And I have Chris Espeland in the podcast booth now. Chris, welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
You're very welcome. So I tell you what, it's been a dynamic conference, a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. I get charged up every time I come to the NCPA. What do you see as an important as a pharmacy owner to be involved in the NCPA? Why is that so important?
I think it's a great forum to foresee the challenges presented to independent pharmacy, especially in today's market. There's a lot of important things here that the NCPA does for independent or community pharmacists, and to be part of that and be able to have a voice and come together is very important for the future and the success of community pharmacy.
One of the challenges being a pharmacy owner is understanding and managing my wholesale relationship with my wholesaler and my inventory and buying and brands and generics, and I tell you what, it can get very complex and sometimes seem complicated. So what I'd like to talk to you about today is the world of generics and how important that is to a pharmacy's bottom line in buying away versus using rebate structure and the vast formularies compared to some of those other wholesalers out there, the big three. So let's talk about that. Let's peel that onion back a little bit.
Sure. I think everyone wants to talk about generics. Reason why is generics is how everybody makes money. So manufacturers make money on generics, wholesalers make money on generics, community pharmacy makes money on generics. The reason there's such an onion that you have to peel back is everyone thinks that they can be profitable based on shopping generics. It's a volatile market. Everyone seems to come out with a price, and at the end of the day, a lot of pharmacies have to understand their wholesaler relationship and what's important to them. I would say the big misconception right now is that price equals profit. And I actually understand and probably side with some of the community pharmacist owners right now that you're busy managing your business, and at the end of the day, when you see a price from a competitor or somebody that's not your primary, it can be a considerable difference, on the NDC level. So, 50 or $100 less or 50% less. But at the end of the day, you have to trust who your wholesaler is and understand that your P&L at the bottom, right, has profit, and that is by far the most important thing. So opportunity cost comes out, and I'm sure we're going to elaborate on that. But as a pharmacy understands that, they can truly impact their margin and at the end of the day, their profit.
So we had Rob Merriweather on the show, and he was really talking about the big picture and how the total relationship with the primary wholesaler is really the end game. So kind of expand upon that. As a pharmacy owner, I see a generic price. It seems so attractive to me. Talk to me about the pros and cons of jumping on a low-price generic and what that can do to shake up my primary wholesaler contract.
Sure. So I would say the first thing about that is you got to look at opportunity cost of the wholesale deal. If you're looking at some of the distributor level wholesalers, primarily they're focused on just the price of the generics. Your primary relationship would be more on the totality of your business. I would say your typical retail pharmacy probably on average orders 2,800 more NDC levels. we may have all those items in stock while somebody else doesn't. So if you're looking on the NDC level just related to price alone, the opportunity cost definition would be giving up some potential gain with your primary and being able to offset with price. So a lot of times when you're looking on the NDC level to save 50%, you're giving up your rebate on either the first tier, the second tier, etc. Where at HD Smith on our formula we pay back to $1. So from going to a rebate of 15% at one tier going to 16 or 17%, that 1% or 2% rebate back to $1 on all of your purchases prior, that equals more than the NDC level price change of one generic.
So it's October, last quarter 2017. As a pharmacy owner, what should I be looking at right now when it comes to generics? What's the trending thing happening? Is there a disease state coming up? Is there a brand to generic change that's going to be coming up? But just give us, our listeners, a little overview of that.
Sure. I think to understand the future and what's up for Q4, you have to go back a little bit. So I believe the generic cliff started probably in 2015. It was really a big, colossal buying group power entity come together. So Express Scripts, I believe, was ABC, and ABC, I guess, was affiliated through Walgreens Boots Alliance. They came together to really get buying power. That started the generic cliff. Of course, in 2016, the FDA had a record-setting year for how many approvals they had in the generic market. And then that snowballed the effect because the generic manufacturer, their peak profitability is in that first 6 months, and then of course competition drives down that price. FDA has already come out and said that they're going to have more approvals in 2017. So generic cliff, we're probably seeing high double digits. I know at HD Smith our formulary is somewhere around 8,000 items, what we call Pharmagen, our generic program. Our competitors both somewhere around, I've heard, as little as 1,500 to the most of 3,500. And that program itself is all about profitability for the pharmacy. So we're going to be competitive. The question I'll ask you, I guess, really quick is, out of all the classes of trade, right, institutional, big box store, community pharmacy, specialty, who do you think shops the most?
That's a really good question. I would think that community pharmacy owners shop the most.
You would be right, and I think 100% of your listeners or any of the community pharmacist owners around here would say that community pharmacy shops the most. HD Smith being the fourth largest pharmaceutical wholesaler, we only work with community pharmacy, so independent owners. And what we've learned is that our price level is very competitive because we align with the competitive nature of the community pharmacist. So as you're looking into Q4, we're going to continue to see probably high single digits, 7 to 9% deflation in the generic industry or the market. It's extremely volatile, but we're not going to see that cliff where we saw, high double digits. So as they're looking out there in the marketplace, who would you trust more? I would say HD Smith has a program and has the tools and technologies to help you manage profitability so that you can maximize your structure or your rebate scale with your wholesaler, and then be able to look at opportunity costs, because there are going to be items to where a pharmacy can actually pick up margin by shopping away. HD Smith understands that. All we ask is that we work with our customers to try to take those price points and be able to work with our manufacturers for even more of a savings.
So if I'm a pharmacy owner, I'm listening to the show, I have some additional questions about what the balance between my generic and brand contracts are. What's that top three advice? What can you tell a pharmacy owner that's listening right now to kind of appease and or make them not worry as much for the coming of the new year, 2018?
I would say number one, know your business and the different line items that are attached to your P&L. So when you're looking at your P&L, of course, there's different line items, and within those line items are subcategories and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's a big picture approach. It's the same thing with your relationship with your primary wholesaler. You need to take a big picture approach at the end of the day and know that you can't take percentages to the bank. So your 44% rebate, if you pay $1 over market, congratulations, you got 44 cents, where the other 56 cents go. So with HD Smith, we have an account manager out there called an SAE, a Strategic Account Executive. This person is dedicated to any of our primary customers that we have a strategic relationship with. They come in at least a monthly basis, sometimes on a quarterly basis, or whatever really is the owner or the pick or et cetera wants to see this person. And this person really strives on what we call the winner wheel. The winner wheel is how we've dictated 5 different categories to improve the profitability of a pharmacy. Pricing is absolutely an important variable, but at the end of the day, it's a variable to the bigger equation. So I would say as we're looking into 2018, you definitely need to evaluate community pharmacy. And when you're talking to a wholesaler, one of the largest leverages you have is your generic compliance. So if you begin to shop it with whoever it is out there, competition-wise or distributor level, you're losing a little bit more of the big picture approach. So you're losing that leverage that you could be working with a wholesaler. And I'm not going to lie, make us earn it. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that you're a better, more profitable business, and we can prove that.
So if I have a year's worth of prescription volume information to basically hand over to your team to do a proper RFP response so that I can really understand what things would have looked like if I were part of HD Smith, I think that's where you boil it down and it actually starts to become visionary, because then they'll be able to say, wow, if I would have, even though I had some of those good buys throughout the year, if the bigger picture would have been, if I would have been part of HD Smith, here's the outcome of what I would have had. So is that kind of what you do in kind of drafting a proposal to give to a pharmacy owner?
Absolutely. The approach here is all about business fundamentals. Anyone that's had a business background or went to their master's program, etc., or own a business for many of years, they've probably heard the word EVA, so economic value added, or easier layman terms, I guess, net landed approach. Many of our reps, our entire organization, I would say, would take this approach with any community pharmacist, and we strive for this. I know at the end of the day that our percentages may not be as large, but at the bottom line, we're going to save the pharmacy money. So if you're willing to provide that information, we're only as good as the information that we are able to attain. We can do a net landed approach. So we look at every single line item. The percentages don't mean a lot, but they do relate to a dollar amount. So we want to break down every single category: brand traditional, and now we have brand specialty. Now we have some things that who knows if they're specialty or not from the community pharmacy standpoint. Generic piece, what's on your source program, what's not on your source program. Just because it's on your source program, is it rebate eligible? I get that question a lot. And so we break down the totality of the deal for the competitor as well as us. And at the end of the day, it's worth a net landed percentage, but more importantly, it's worth a dollar amount. So, if you're an average pharmacy and you're purchasing $240,000 from your current wholesaler, and your deal and discounts is worth $24,000, but you get all these big percentages, HD Smith might come in and we'll save you $36,000. So at the end of the day, it's worth $12,000 a month to you. Annualize that over the contract, and significant savings for you to invest in your business and be better and more profitable and more relevant in the future. That is significant. Chris, thanks so much for your insights and bringing this to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. This is important stuff, so I very much appreciate it. Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
We thank you for listening to the HD Smith Pharmacy Podcast Series, recorded live at the NCPA 2017. To learn more about topics impacting the independent pharmacy community, be sure to listen to all the podcasts in this 12-part series. As a reminder, HD Smith is the only national wholesaler dedicated solely to independent pharmacy owners. HD Smith's success is directly related to the success and profitability of privately owned independent pharmacies. To learn more about HD Smith, visit hdsmith.com.